Okay, let's watch friend of the show. I haven't talked to her in a while, but she did very nicely ask in an email a while back if she could use some of my footage that I did about Rachel, and so she could compile her own video. Oops. So she compiled this video. It's called "Was Rachel Hollis's Divorce Caused by This Book?" Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I think it's a great theory. Now she's very honest in it and doesn't like try to, what's the word? I don't know, commercialize it or try to sensationalize. That's the word. She doesn't try to sensationalize and go like sort of more so how my style is like, here is the proof. Like that's me. She's much more calm about things. And this was posted 1 year ago, October 2021. So here we go. I think there's a lot of good theories, and I just love to bring it back to Rachel as per usual.
There's essays about her divorce, developing intuition, personalizing a relationship with God, co-parenting with her former partner, and various new age Tumblr-tinged perspectives on life and society. I'm not saying that Rachel's marriage fell apart because she read Untamed. I'm saying that after reading Untamed, a person contemplating major life challenges may be emboldened to embark on those scary and unpopular moves. Let's face it, public figures aren't issued guidebooks on how to live after they've become famous. Top-selling self-help books are as close as it gets to a how-to guide on how to navigate challenges with socially acceptable narratives to accompany those situations. Thinking about getting divorced? Here's a market-tested, socially acceptable way to wrap up that divorce and deploy it. And we know it works because it's part of a best-selling book. It has major endorsements by celebrities and most of America. I read this book so that you don't have to, but to be honest, I enjoyed this book. I thought that Glennon is a very talented writer. It was a quick read and pretty pleasant. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the highlights of the book, and then I'm going to tie that back to behaviors and actions that we've seen Rachel Hollis exhibit. And then I'm going to try to explain this book's role in society. I know that some of you are excited to get some juicy bits out of this, so I'm going to approach with some low-hanging fruit, or what I thought to be low-hanging fruit. Untamed was published on March 10th, 2020. One of the taglines throughout the book is, "We can do hard things." It's a motivational phrase that should embolden you to do difficult things, something Glennon says repeatedly throughout the course of the book. On April 1st.
And the name of the channel, I saw someone ask, the name of the channel is P.S. Julie. P as in Peter, S as in Sinbad. That's not the real, what do you call it? The real alphanumeric thing to say, but you get it. P.S. Julie. Postscript. Okay.
2020. Rachel posted to her.
Here come the receipts. I love it.
Instagram a motivational graphic that featured "You can do hard things." It feels like an immediate callback. We know that by the end of May 2020, Rachel has received the book and she has read the book. So it's practical to think that if the book was published on March 10th, that Glennon's PR folk,
The only thing missing was Rachel Hollis putting her name on it at the bottom.
and herself could have delivered a copy to her friend Rachel before March 30th, 2020, which would inspire this type of post because, like I mentioned, "We can do hard things" is mentioned repeatedly throughout Untamed. I was immediately excited, but then I did a little bit more research, and it turns out that Rachel has actually shared this a lot, and that on January 20th, 2020, Rachel had shared "You can do hard things." It is possible that in conversations with Glennon, this type of thing had come up before.
So the caption here is, you can. Say it louder so that it drowns out the negative self-talk that tells you all of the reasons you should give up. When that voice taunts you to quit, smile and remind her, I'm just getting started. Except when it comes to your marriage to Dave Hollis, that you can give up on. Because that comes up 6 months later-ish.
Or who knows? I thought it's funny that the top comment on this post from 25 weeks ago is, "You come across as a very shallow knockoff of Glennon Doyle, an ironic person to knock off. Practice what she preaches. Be your own gosh darn self. even if it doesn't make you money. So while it may not fit the chronology, it seems to me that Rachel already had this message internalized, but it could be that she read Untamed and it brought it back to the top for her. But 3 months prior to the March post in January, she was saying, you can do hard things. So that's kind of the most firm draw between the two of them. And I don't think we can really rule out what inspired what. I think it's funny that somebody else made that same conclusion. Some of you are saying, well, that's kind of a weak line to draw between the two of them. If that's your best example of Rachel directly citing Glennon.
The bar is so low for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with you already. Your thesis is proven to me with that one post. But I like someone who has even more. So I'm on board.
Then I'm out of here. And that's why I brought it up. Because this video isn't going to me saying Rachel Hollis plagiarized Untamed, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that people tend to have some reference that they're drawing from spiritually, and that in this instance, we can look at Untamed and understand where Rachel Hollis is basing her decisions, because it appears to be the foundation for which she's justifying major changes in her life. So if you're hoping for direct passages lifted from Untamed in Rachel's life, you've come to the wrong place. I couldn't find it and I looked. What I'm saying instead is if you stick with me, if you stick to this video, you're going to get a little bit more understanding behind the justification and the philosophical reasoning that leads to some of the behaviors we see Rachel exhibit. One of the persistent themes of Untamed is that Glennon Doyle became in touch with herself and she directly confronted the cultural conditioning that she had received. In the chapter Let It Burn, she breaks down different cultural messages and why she's letting go of them and is no longer internalizing them as goals for herself. When it gets to the topic of marriage and divorce, Glennon has this to say. I quit buying the idea that a successful marriage is one that lasts till death, even if one or both spouses are dying inside it. I decided that before I ever vow myself to another person, I'd take this vow to myself. I'll not abandon myself, not ever again. This reprogramming of the cultural message is useful because it takes the onus of success in a marriage off of being together until death and instead puts the measurement of success in a marriage whether or not the individuals in the marriage are able to thrive in the confines of the marriage. The qualifier for whether or not the person should stay in the marriage shifts from am I alive to am I living? Rachel's divorce announcement signals the shift from thinking of a successful marriage being one that lasts until death to instead being one that ends when it's no longer beneficial to both parties. She says, we have worked endlessly.
Guys, this is the best divorce announcement I've ever seen. Okay, just to remind everybody, now that we're back on Rachel Hollis YouTube, this was the same exact open mouth selfie photo from Dave, at least, that she had posted like a week or two before, where they were like, we went there on our relationship podcast. We're talking about making out. Okay, then like a week too later, she posts the same exact photo with this caption. It's so iconic. It'll live in the museum of Rachel Hollisville lore forever. She points out a certain caption, but I like the first part too. Guys, I have some hard news to share, and the honest truth is I have no idea how someone announces something like this, so I'm just gonna say it. Dave and I made the incredibly difficult decision to end our marriage. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh about someone ending their marriage, but like the way that the first part, she was like forgot that she was like so excited about it. Like, guys, I have the biggest, amazing announcement for you. I'm leaving Dave. And we all know that it was bullshit, right? Because now, with hindsight in our favor, we can see she's like, oh, he hurt me for years, and he was the worst, and I was so held back, and I didn't have sex, and I lied about everything. But this one, this is still fresh, kind of, from their divorce. So, so it's sort of like she was taking the route of like, we're just going to remain friends, which is kind of what Glennon actually has done and Rachel pretended to do, in my opinion.
Over the last 3 years to make this work and have come to the conclusion that it is healthier and more respectful for us to choose this as the end of our journey as a married couple. Both Glennon and Rachel are known as Christian authors, and Rachel and her husband gave seminars on how to make your marriage worth fighting for, celebrating, and Glennon wrote books about championing love in her own marriage. It takes quite the philosophical leap to go from this is till death do us part to it's till we're no longer living spiritually anymore. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For the record, I think divorce is a great technology. These scenarios, I think, are great scenarios in which to pursue divorce. However, people in their target demographic may not agree with that. Philosophically, religiously, they shouldn't, because those are the religions that are...
I agree. Okay, so that was the hot tea. Okay, let's talk about this one now.
If your children are the passengers on the plane and they see you freaking out, what do you think they're going to do?
Okay, so they're talking about kids.
You've been flying and living long enough to know that while turbulence feels scary, it won't take the plane down. Turbulence isn't deadly, and neither is divorce. We survive these things. The kids don't know this yet, so they are afraid. They are going to keep looking at your face for information. Your job right now is to smile at them, stay calm, and keep serving the freaking peanuts. So Glennon takes it upon herself to put on a brave face, model the courage, the optimism for her children. Rachel directly uses this type of language to describe how she is going to be modeling for her children during her divorce. She says, I want to be strong and bold and optimistic for you now, but every ounce of my energy is reserved in being those things for my children. Rachel is saying, I have to be the stewardess who is bold and optimistic so that the passengers on the plane are bold and optimistic, which is what Glennon said in the book. I'm not saying that the concept that...
And then if you listen to the stream or listen to the episode itself from the Skinny Confidential podcast, Rachel said, and this was after Toiletgate, after cancellation, everything, she was coming back to like get her redemption story, like... We're asking her all the questions. Yeah, okay. She said, I don't want to give advice to women anymore. That was something that people put on me as like what they thought I wanted to do. I just wanted to do fun shit or cool shit with cool people. That's been my goal, and that's my mantra. But in that divorce announcement, she's like, I want to be here for you now, like her audience. Like, you're telling me that was the persona that someone put on you, that wasn't your own take on things. It's just like rewriting history again. Okay, this is another one. I've talked about this one a lot on the channel about God being a she, and I didn't know Glennon was the one that, I don't know if she said it first or what, or if this is, I mean, like there's a literal song about it, like from Ariana Grande. So I don't know if the argument's who said it first, but it's interesting. Another thing that Rachel has used and Glennon has also used.
This next claim is what I believe to be a pretty firm backing that Rachel does see some validation in Glennon Doyle's writings, because this is something that Glennon goes to a length to defend in Untamed, which is that God is a she. She says, Glennon, you refer to God as a she. Why do you believe that God's a female? I don't. I think it's ridiculous to think of God as anything that could possibly be gendered. But as long as the expression of God as female is unimaginable to many, while to expression of God as male feels perfectly acceptable, and as long as women continue to be undervalued and abused and controlled here on earth, I'll keep using it. For the record, having grown up Roman Catholic in Catholic schools for the majority of my life, this concept isn't incredibly new. It is controversial. I've never heard a priest say it, but I've heard definitely friends' parents say that. I've heard classmates say that. It's in the water, so to speak.
I think she's so wholesome, this creator. It's in the water, so to speak. Yeah. I've never heard a priest say it. I think, most priests would be like, no, God is she. Amen. But I say, a woman. Huh? Woman fest that, okay? That's what the merch I want to do. A woman. Anyways, okay.
However, it's in the water with people who don't have any power. It's controversial. And now the question, Julie, where is your proof that Rachel has said this? Well, I went looking for it myself, and we're going to be playing the telephone game in this instance. So I am a big fan of the YouTube channel Kia's World, and Kia does a lot of research and coverage of Rachel Hollis. She recently virtually attended the Rise conference in, I believe, the beginning of September 2021, and this is what she had to say about Rachel referring to God as a she.
But dang, I'm in the same spot. I'm just actually twisted and I have a green screen now. I'm actually in the same location as I was in this video. Look at that. Look at me. Have you seen anything as beautiful? But she said that, and then she also said that God is a she, and whatever her wisdom is, blah, blah, blah. So she stuck to her guns on that one, that God is a female. She's mentioned that a couple times in other podcasts and videos, but she said again on stage that, you know, God is a female.
In general, Kia's coverage of the Rise conference is great. So if you are interested in more of like a thorough run through of what happened, like definitely go watch that. Those were the most firm examples.
And then jump in the future, because I went in person to the Rachel Hollis podcast experience.
Of Rachel parroting the tenets, the main core philosophies from Glennon Doyle's Untamed. And now I want to talk a little bit more about the key points that she hasn't parroted that I think are integral to understanding how influential this is and why so many celebrities were like, this was
Okay, so that's interesting. And there is, okay, here is just to throw my own proof into the mix. My own receipts. This is Rachel and Glennon Doyle liked it, so you know. But I think it's interesting that neither one has appeared on each other's podcasts at any point. So I think that is sort of telling of like, I'm assuming Glennon is not a fan of Rachel or doesn't want to get involved with her, like the post. But I mean, this is pre-Toiletgate when Rachel posted this, but I'm sure Rachel would love to have Glennon on her podcast, if she's posting someone's book and not getting hashtag ad money for it, you know, I think she's doing it to try to like soften her up. But this is what Rachel says. I'm in love with this book. I'm halfway through and what is wrong with these people who don't finish the book, but then give a full endorsement of the book? Heidi did not read Dave's book at all and gave a glowing review. Oh, best book ever. Rachel's halfway through this book and is like, best book ever. It's like, okay, I get it, but whatever. I'm halfway through and pausing only long enough to tell you to stop everything you're doing and buy it and read it and cry and laugh and allow it to make you think. Glennon Doyle's new book, Untamed, is like if Girl Stop Apologizing had a wiser, cooler, more thoughtful best friend. So she's like, Glennon Doyle's basically me, same bloodline, just a little bit better because I'm going to be a humble queen. But like, just when you think of Untamed, think of me also, okay? I'm still in the family. Apologizing had a while. Okay. This conversation about women and how we're raised to fit neatly inside of everyone else's vision of who we should be is a truth we must keep telling. Actually, this is pre-divorce announcement. This is right before the divorce announcement. Holy shit. This is like a week before. They might have already talked about it. Wait, when is someone in the chat, please let me know. Someone knows it out there. When was Rachel and Dave's anniversary? Because that's the weekend of their wedding anniversary. No, of their wedding anniversary? It must be. Yeah, their wedding anniversary because they went on a trip. That's when she told him I want a divorce. So if we can do the dates, that would be very interesting. Okay. Let's talk about it so much that our generation begins to fight back against the expectations and limitations put on us by others. Let's talk about it so much that the next generation never needs books like this at all because it would never occur to them to be anything other than themselves. But then you wouldn't make money, Rachel. So how would you survive? Yeah, May 24th. Okay, let me just search it too because I know this is a delayed chat. Dave Hollis and Rachel Hollis get married. Okay, it just says May. But what day exactly? I guess I can look. Oh, come on. We can scroll back into infinity. Because they were on the cliffs in Ireland or Scotland or somewhere for their 1 anniversary. Because remember Dave posted the like anniversary and then he deleted it. And then he's like, I deleted it because we broke up. I felt stupid. And I was like, damn, relatable. And then it turned out that he wasn't relatable after all in the long run. In the short term, I was like, wow. In the long run, I was like, meow. Weird. Wait, okay. I'm scrolling. There's so many selfies with his mouth wide open and her doing that little like, Remember they had the whole photo shoot though? Okay, I'm sorry to get off topic from Glennon, but they had the whole photo shoot of them on the cliffs. Let's see. 2019. No, it would have been after that. And they were like, every year we renew our vows because we're more exceptional than you are. And we go to Europe to do it, okay? So don't think that we want to be relatable to your ass. Okay, wait. It's got it. Is that when she's crying? She's like, I hate him so much. I hate him more than anyone ever has hated. This big guy and I will be on Good Morning America to talk about his book. Okay, that's March. I'm getting there, guys. Guys, we're getting divorced. I'm getting there. Maybe she deleted it. Fuck. No, she deleted it. Unless it's on Dave's. That's a whole other thing. Okay, whatever. I need to know like what day, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. But it does? Does it matter? I don't know. Okay, let's continue on Glenda. I will be able to figure it out. Marriage anniversary, Dave Hollis. May 23rd. I see it on Dave's Facebook. May 23rd, everybody. And she posted the she posted the Glennon Doyle book on May 24th. Does that prove anything? The day she told Dave, she posted this post. What a revelation. How do we feel about this? Okay. Does this matter at all? But yeah. So it says this one. Oh, yeah, I'm not even showing you. I forgot. This says on May 23rd, as we left our wedding 14.9 years ago, we had so much fun that we committed to getting married every 5 years. The first time we exchanged vows, it was in Pismo Beach, blah, 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 blah. They love each other. They're made for more. Date your spouse, all the bullshit. And then 1 year later, she's posting, I'm leaving your ass. Anyways, we got it. Glennon is responsible. I'm on the same page as
they life change
as PS Julie. And yeah, shout out to PS Julie. I'm glad we finally got her featured on the channel. That was like one of my first videos that anyone was like, can I use footage or can I do? I was like, damn, this is cool. Yes, of course. And if you ever out there, people watching want to use footage from my channel, go for it. You don't have to ask me. Just take it and then tell me and I'll watch it and tell you if I think it's good or not.